Hey, everybody, it's Anna. So here we are at the new moon, getting ready for the strawberry moon. Let me know if you're around and what's going on with you. And if you're in the replay, check in there too. We're going to pull a spread to help us get ready for the strawberry moon. I do have it listed, like what all the astrological things are, but I'm not going to look at them too much because I don't really know what they mean. But I did, as I was looking at sort of all the pieces that connect to the strawberry moon, I did come up with sort of a theme that I want to play with for this month's or this new moon spread. So, if you got your cards with you, you can definitely pull a spread along with me. I've got my cards already shuffled and ready to pull a spread. So I thought about strawberries. Sometimes I'll do research on the internet to kind of get more understanding of what the full moon connects to and the cultural references or the philosophical references. But this time I just thought about strawberries. And I thought, what do I know about strawberries, the fruit? So I guess it's called the strawberry moon because it's when strawberries are in bloom. Lots of fresh berries are coming in. I guess also in this next full moon, there's going to be the summer solstice, the middle of the summer. So lots of things, lots of fruit, lots of blooming. Not blooming, actually fruiting at this point, right? Blooming comes before the fruiting. So I thought about fruit and how that can be the center of our spread today. Okay, so nobody's checked in. Oh, good, Patty. Thank you, Patty. I was like, no one's checked in yet. I hope I'm live. But I am because Patty's here. So I thought about fruit, right? And especially the strawberry itself. And I thought, hi, Annie. So 3 questions to connect to a 3-card spread. One is, what is the obvious fruit? Kind of like what are we deliberately planning? What are we deliberately cultivating, right? So that what are we expecting to enjoy, I guess, in this new moon? And the new moon is where we're at 0, right? It's like there's no moon in the sky. We can't see the moon. So it's like we're at a 0 point. So we're at a point where energy is not available. We're going to now from the new moon to the full moon, we're receiving energy. So it's almost like what are the fruits we are receiving right now? They're being offered to us. How can we enjoy them and nurture them, right? Hi, LaTanya. So the first question is, what are the fruits we expect to enjoy in the next 2 weeks? Like where are we getting nurtured that we know we're getting nurtured, right? And the second question, oh, okay, Anne, see you in the replay. The next question would be, because I thought about strawberries, how you can just eat them straight and they're great, just the fruit itself, right? But there's so many ways that strawberries can be turned into different foods. Like there's strawberry cake and strawberry pie and strawberry preserves and strawberry salsa and chutney and strawberries in salad. So there's this idea of strawberries can be transformed into lots of different things, which can be surprising. So that the second question could be, how might we be surprised in this new moon? What are the surprising ways the fruit might nurture us? And really kind of being open to that surprise. And I think that combines with helping the mind be light on its feet. We talk a lot about how, especially if you are a body or heart intuitive, which most people who follow me are, part of the learning of the mind is following that leadership. Like recognizing the mind doesn't really know where we're going. It doesn't have a roadmap. It doesn't have clarity, right? So we want the mind to be looking to be surprised and to be open to that surprise. So basically, I like the second question because it's like, what fruits are being offered? Or in what way might they be offered to us? That's a surprise. We want to be open to the surprise so that we don't miss it, because it's easy to miss all nurture if you're not careful. But it's easy to miss things that when you don't see them coming, right? And the third question, I thought about how strawberries have seeds on the outside, those tiny little seeds that are on the outside, and how when you eat a strawberry, basically you're freeing up the seed to move on to the next bloom, right? So I thought, the third question would be like, what is being planted in the world right now? Because in the new moon, you're actually not doing anything technically. I mean, if you're being very specific about how in the new moon to the full moon, you're gaining energy, and the full moon to the new moon, you're investing energy. If you want to be very literal about what it's describing. So theoretically, we're not supposed to be investing a lot. We're supposed to be receiving nurture, right? But even when we receive nurture, even when we're not actively sowing things or doing things or making things happen, still the seeds of our experience now go into the future. So I like the idea of even when you're resting and you think, and again, the linear idea is that the mind will often think, nothing happens if we don't make it happen or put energy into making something happen. But that's not true, because magic happens in the balance point between the action and the rest, right? So even rest is productive. So the third question would be, how are the seeds of my rest moving into the next piece of fruiting? That'd be how I say it. So yeah, Annie says fruit, death, surprise. Oh, you've already pulled your spread. Okay, you're ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to pull my spread first, just so I get that done, and then I'll look and see what all you guys are sharing about your spread. So first question was, how do I expect to be nurtured? What's the obvious or the expected fruit of my blessing right now? Ooh, 8 of Wands. So 8 is power, momentum, and power. Not moment. Well, it is about momentum, power, and flow. Wands are about passion and inspiration and confidence. So like really enjoying momentum, enjoying the flow, enjoying being passionate and on fire and lit up. So in the next 2 weeks, I can expect to enjoy this sort of lively experience of being excited and on fire. And I think that does apply to me right now. Like I have done there's been some different shifting and healing in my life in the last month that I feel like now things feel good. Like they feel comfortable, they feel flowing. So being able to enjoy that. And that's unusual for me, right? Because well, I mean, it's unusual probably for any of us. There's often resistance that comes with the flow, and there's some struggle, and so it's not always kind of this effortless, but occasionally you hit a patch where you're in kind of effortless flow. So I kind of see that as being effortless flow, and also flow that's focused on passion and vitality. So that's would be my expected fruit. Oh, and also, as I always say, you can always use my spread too. Like if you want to pull your own, you can. But we use the tarot story every week, right? And that often matches with people. So this can match you as well. So you might ask the question, where are you in flow, and what you expect to be in flow. I also think this is good because the expectation of being in flow kind of confounds what my mind would expect. Like my experience tells me that my history tells me that there is inspiration, there is intuition, there is sort of these moments of insight, but they're coupled with a bit of struggle and a bit of suffering. So this kind of confounds my traditional expectation. What if there isn't suffering? What if there's just joy? Kind of a nice idea. Okay, the second question was, what might be the unexpected blessings that pop up for me? Things I'm not really anticipating. All right. 8 of Cups reverse, another 8 card. Okay, my goodness. And again, as I said with the 8 of Wands, 8s are about flow and mastery, like feeling and mastery. Cups are connected to the intuition. They're about feeling connected to others and feeling emotionally fulfilled. And this card is the spiritual seeking card, I call it, or not just me, lots of people call it that. But the guy is leaving behind his treasures and walking into the darkness. And so it's dark. So he can't use his human eyes to guide him. He's following his intuition. His feet are sure, because this is an 8 card. He's not nervous. He's not timid. He's walking with confidence and clarity because his intuition is guiding him. So it's about knowing that I'm walking blind from a human perspective, but also knowing I know where I'm going. So the spiritual seeking card is very confident. Like I know where my heart is guiding me, or my intuition is guiding me. So this is a reversal. Let me tell you how I read that right now. I read the reversal as I'm not seeking, I found it. And the reason I say that is because the 8 of Wands, they're working together, right? The 8 of Wands upright is sort of in flow. The reversal of the 8 of Cups, I think, is about kind of agreeing that whatever was in the woods that was calling me, I have found it. And that would surprise me, because I'm kind of used to the idea of like never actually finding what you're looking for. You find it, but then you have to look for something else. Almost like it's an ongoing process. And a lot of my clients talk about that. Like as soon as you find what you're looking for, your heart like leaps forward to the next thing, which I think is normal. And I think it's part of being kind of an expansive energy, but it can also feel kind of like disappointing sometimes because it's like, do I ever just get to enjoy like where I am and be content? And I kind of got to the point of saying, no, you don't ever get to be content. I'm not sure that's entirely true. Maybe there it's just part of the growth, right? You get to a point where even your mind relaxes. So I'm going to look for that here. Like maybe you find the thing you're looking for. You're not seeking anymore, you found it. And the blessings that go on into the world, the little seeds that even though we're not doing anything right now, we're moving into the next thing. And there's productivity happening anyway. Page of Swords. Okay. So the page is that young student card. Swords are about the mind. This is about the mind getting young, getting adventurous, opening itself to new ideas and new teachings, right? So if we're in the new moon, which means we're not really doing anything, we're kind of letting ourselves be filled up. This makes sense to me, like, getting energy and flow, feeling energy and flow, because you've already launched these wands. You're not launching them now, you've already launched them. And then you found the thing you're looking for. You're not searching, you're enjoying the fact that you found it and agreeing that you found it. And the Page of Swords, kind of saying, because I wasn't sure that either one of these things was really possible for me. As I said, I feel like I don't feel content. I often do feel restless and discontent. And even when I accomplish something, I'm always moving on to the next thing. So almost like, what if it's possible to create a mental structure where my mind begins to agree to being fulfilled, to finding contentment? That would be an interesting thing for my mind to learn, because it has definitely learned something different in my previous life. Okay. So again, those cards might connect to you. If they do, let me know. But I'll look at other people's spreads and see what you guys came up with. Annie, okay, fruit. So what you're enjoying right now is, and what you expect to enjoy, right? Death. So that's the release of old authority systems, not just the release, like the knocking down, like, because the guy in the image in the Rider-Waite, you've got the skeleton knight, and this royal person is on the ground, and his crown's fallen off, right? So the idea is the skeleton knight comes in and knocks the old authority out of the way so that you can become the authority. And in the background, you've got a village and there's a sunrise, right? So it represents the coming in of new authority. So like being able to enjoy. So I would say, because this is the new moon, like you're enjoying stepping into your own authority. You've already kind of made these overtures, getting rid of old things, and now you're kind of enjoying what it feels like to choose things that match you, that resonate with you, and to be the actor, as opposed to someone following other people's rules or someone else's rules, kind of setting your own standards. Maybe that's the way to see that. The surprise would be Six of Cups. Oh, that's nice, because the 6 is about harmony and integration. Cups are about the intuition and the heart and feeling connected with others. And the image in the Rider-Waite are 2 children sharing cups of flowers together, right? And so I often connect that card to feeling innocent, like connecting to innocence, which is coming to the world with an open heart, with a heart ready to be loved and ready to love. So we're not looking for danger. We're not looking for enemies. We're looking for connection and feeling like we're able to release stories that make us jaded, if that makes sense. So how I'd see that with the death card, I can see them actually connecting in a kind of a lovely way, because often systems of authority that we have are given to us to keep us safe. And they are stories about where the dangers are, right? Like who you shouldn't listen to, what you shouldn't do. And most of those stories, the stories often have very similar teachings, right? And one of them is, don't be too big, don't be too loud, don't be like, try to fit in, because that makes you safe in the world, right? So the authority in your head may be like, yeah, behave properly, don't look weird, don't be too beautiful, too loud, too clever, too interesting, like try to match other people. So that authority, if you've gotten rid of that authority, you're starting to step into your calling. And the surprising gift is you come to the world with an open heart. Like you're able to just let go of those old stories. They don't match what you're, and as the authority figure yourself, as you claim that authority, you get to pick which stories you use to inform what you do. So the idea of actively choosing innocence, and I say it so many times, but I'll say it again. Innocence is not the same as naivete. Naivete is believing everything will work out because we have no other experiences that tell us differently. So we've never been hurt. We've never been disappointed or betrayed. Innocence is knowing those things are possible, but still coming to the world in a choice, choosing to come looking for magic, evoking magic, and trusting that commitment to magic has its own sort of power. and authority. So, and then what goes into the world, like what the seeds, right, that are going to go, that are carry over. The Nine of Pentacles. Oh my gosh. So the nine is that penultimate step in the trajectory just before you get to the 10, which is the transformation point. The nine is often called the wish card, because at the point when you get to the nine, you've already met all your challenges. You've already kind of, done all the work, and all you have to do now is just kind of let yourself move forward. But the Nine of Pentacles is this very beautiful woman in this gorgeous robe. She's a very rich, very wealthy looking. She's in this garden. She's just enjoying the garden, right? And I think of the Nine of Pentacles as being that moment when you are able to really savor the abundance that you brought into the world. You really can see it and enjoy it and appreciate it before you go to the 10, where the abundance becomes universal. Because in the 10 of Pentacles, there's gold raining down from the sky. So it's like, this is your last chance to have a private moment to say, wow, what an amazing journey this has been. How beautiful this abundance is. I just want to really enjoy this and own it. This is a result of my co-creation with the universe. And wow, isn't this cool? So I think like almost like, and I can see that like being the natural outplaying of the death card, the Six of Cups, and then like, oh, look at this lovely result of all this growth. So there you go. There you go, Annie. Wax, you have Magician. So the first card, what you expect, right? Like what you anticipate you're going to be enjoying is the Magician. So that's that. The Magician is the first card of the major arcana. It's the part of us that evokes new things on the planet. It decides, oh, this is what we need to create. And he's in the Rider-Waite. He's got one finger pointing to heaven, the other to the ground. He's pulling in new energy, right? Pulling in the seed of a new beginning. So that would tell me that, interestingly, I think that would suggest either you've already evoked something or you're like getting ready. You're like, what do I want? What do I want? What does this world need? What am I missing in this world? And kind of letting yourself feel that desire within yourself where you go, oh, that's what I want to create. So, and I think that it is an action step, right? And so, but it comes from us cultivating a willingness to ask the question, what do we want? I mean, it's funny how often we don't ask that question. That's a discipline, saying, what am I missing? What am I feeling? What am I excited about? Instead of just kind of going into a status quo of following patterns, we're like, yeah, let's break the pattern and ask a question. So it's a disruption of pattern. So it could be that you've already been disrupting the pattern and now you're ready to kind of anchor in this new thing. What you might not expect is the Ace of Cups. I love that because the Ace of Cups, I love that as a surprise because, the cup in the Rider-Waite, the cup it's a chalice and it's facing heaven and it's receiving a little dove that's carrying a communion wafer. And the Rider-Waite was created in a Judeo-Christian context, right? So the communion wafer connects to the embodiment of the incarnation of spirit into flesh, right? So the spirit is becoming flesh and we are receiving the incarnation of spirit into flesh. So our cup is ready to receive it. We become a vessel through which holiness and beauty and divinity comes into the world. And the ace is the beginning point, right? So I always think of the Ace of Cups as an expansion of our ability to receive love. And of course, as a result, our ability to offer love. So as we are sort of evoking magic, which might be very specific, like, oh, well, we need more of this in the world, more of this in the world, we're also expanding our capacity to be loved, which is actually the underlying truth of everything. So kind of like you're doing this sort of active manifestation. And by the way, you're also kind of being challenged to let yourself be loved more deeply. And then the world. So the surprising seed, the world is the final card in the major arcana. You got the Magician in the world. And that's like, oh, here's the victory. Here's the beauty. We're going to have a celebration and about everything that we've evoked. So to me, it's almost like the Magician evokes, and then you let yourself grow in feeling loved, and then the party happens. So you may discover, there's something completes. There's a completion of something that it has its seeds in what you're doing right now. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So Patty says, first card is justice. That's what you expect to happen. So justice is about balance. It's about the universe keeping energetic balance for us, right? So often is considered, we call it the karma card, like what you put into the world is also what you get out. But it's not a linear version of that. It really is like, it's like recognizing that you can learn from whatever's coming your way, right? So being able to find the balance point and discover if there are chronic challenges that come up, we're able to notice them and recognize them and say there must be a root to that. Let's find that root. So when I see that, I would say justice as something you expect to receive is sort of an agreeing to the balance point. I would also say one of the challenges of justice is that we often, from a linear perspective, we don't realize how much beauty and blessing we're creating in the world. I think we're naturally good and blessed, right? And our mind doesn't know that, and the mind overfixates on what we're doing wrong. So the mind expects to be punished, or expects to not get, like, I haven't worked hard enough, I haven't done enough things to get blessing. And so the mind will have sort of an expectation of we're not going to be blessed, right? But I think a challenge of the justice card is that expectation is very, very narrow. And actually, there's so much more being offered to you. Can you like agree to your own belovedness? And so let's just say that's some of the work you've been doing is letting yourself be loved more, receiving more. Like maybe now you're able in this new moon, the justice is like now you feel a balance point. The balance shifts into you receiving more blessing, not because you've done anything different, but because you're just willing to be blessed. So maybe that's the way to look at that. What you don't expect, King of Swords. Ooh, that's nice because the king is the master energy. Swords are about the mind. And actually those go together, right? Because if your mind thinks that you're not doing anything particularly worthy in the world, so you really shouldn't be blessed, and the justice card is showing that wrong, like showing the mind, no, this is too limited, that's not what we're doing, then the mind becomes more masterful. It's getting a better perspective of what's really there. And also, it's learning from you what its perspective should be. The mind learns from us, from the intuition, right? So if the intuition shows, oh, look how deeply blessed we are, look how much the universe loves us, the mind is now going to have to write a structure or a story that matches that. We're going to instruct the mind to do that. So the mind becomes more masterful, and it becomes a better partner because you're telling it the story that matches what you're here to do. I hope that makes sense. So I can see those two working together in a kind of a really lovely way. And then the last one's what is being planted, what seeds are going into the world for the next thing. 5 of Swords. Okay, that's the challenge of the mind, right? And that's where there's one fella on the seashore and he's smirking because he's got all these swords he's collected apparently in battle. And he's like, yeah, I'm so tough, and he's impressed with himself. And there's 2 people walking away, right? And so that's a challenge point. And I always read the challenge as can your mind walk away from fruitless conflict, right? like there's no in the image, there's also this kind of cloudy, stormy sky, which implies there's no real victory here. The guy thinks he's victorious. He's impressed with himself, but he hasn't really accomplished anything. He's just kind of losing energy. And the question is, can our minds learn not to engage in stuff that I talk about it a lot, like training a dog. Like, if you're training a dog not to go after certain things, like you're walking your dog and there's something on the road and the dog is interested and you go, leave it. Right. So the dog learns not to get engaged in something or not to eat something that's going to make it sick. Or so like training them, it's like you're training the mind the way you would train a dog. Leave it. That's not ours. That'll make you sick to your stomach. It'll waste time. It won't get you anywhere. And the mind learning how to follow that, learning what doesn't belong to you and not getting caught and kind of trapped in someone else's momentum of conflict. So it makes sense to me that if the King of Swords is sort of coming online, that then the king's like, the king, because he's the master energy, will be able to help discern where I engage, where I don't engage. And so the mind doesn't lose a lot of energy or it doesn't get so distracted by the things around it. So yeah, that's kind of fun. So Anna Klein. So the fruit, what you expect to have, the benefits you expect to have are the Page of Wands reversed. So the reversal of the page in this case, I would say, is like this, the moving into king. So like we've been learning, we've been studying, we've been and wands are about passion and energy. So it could be that you've been in a place where you've been learning and kind of, building into your passion and sort of investing in it and figuring out how your passion runs. Well, now we're shifting into, all right, I know how to do this. I don't have to learn anymore. I do have a sense of how my energy flows and I'm ready to just like let it flow. So you may discover that what you've been doing in the page maybe is now shifting into king, and it feels more confident and more effective, making happen what you want to happen, following your inspiration. Let's see. Anna says, okay, and the surprise would be Knight of Swords. Oh, I love that, because the knight is actually the action taker. Swords are the mind. So I love this because it makes so much sense, because the King of Wands is the one who's like, yes, I know what to do. I know where my passion's leading. I'm very confident. I will now send the mind to take the action steps that match what I want to do. And there's the Knight of Swords, right? Where the mind's like, you give me my orders, I go take my orders, right? In the image of, in the Rider-Waite image of the Knight of Swords, he is on his steed and he's rearing up and he's tearing. No, that's the wands. The Knight of Swords is tearing off across the field. Like, I know where I'm going. I'm confident. I can't be stopped. I'm on my mission, right? And so the Knight of Swords, in response to the King of Wands, is like, the knight is doing what you want him to do. He's very confident and very clear-sighted. So the Knight of Wands in service to intuition is a really, really powerful energy, because it doesn't get dissuaded or confused or distracted. It knows where it's going. And then the last one is what's going into the world. Let's see. Yeah, that into the world. The Seven of Pentacles reversed. Ooh, that's nice. That feels like it kind of connects to the Knight of Swords, because the seven is about discernment and wisdom, and pentacles are about the physical realm. And in the image, there's a fella tending this plant, and it's got pentacles all over it. And it's a beautiful plant. It's doing very well, but he's pausing. And I often think of that card as saying, we're taking a moment to like pause in our work to check in. Like, this is a nice looking plant. Does it really match what I'm here to do? Does it still feel like it's part of my calling? Because there are times, many of us have had times in our lives, we're in the middle of doing something that's successful and doing well, and other people really appreciate it, but it doesn't quite match what we're here to do. So I think of that Seven of Pentacles as the pause where we go, does this still feel like it belongs to me? Am I in a momentum maybe that doesn't belong to me? But the reversal to me is like, I don't have to pause. I know exactly what I'm doing. So that confidence, because that pause can be helpful. Sometimes that pause is helpful because it breaks out of a momentum of status quo, right? But sometimes the pause is just self-doubt. That's sort of, you keep hitting the brakes and hitting the brakes when you don't need to. So what could grow out of, especially this King of Wands, which I'm reading the page of Wands reverse, the King of Wands and the Knight of Swords, it's like, yeah, these guys don't pause. They go after what they're doing in the timing that makes sense to them. And they don't stop and say, I wonder if I'm right about this. So it's just like a even more confidence and momentum around following your own calling. Okay, let's see. So, oh wait, let me see if I went too far. Okay, so Lori, there's Lori. Cards are Five of Wands reversed. Okay, so that's what you expect. Oh, I'm about to lose y'all are scrolling up. Five of Wands reversed, which is the image of the five youths, and they're like sparring together. Wands again about passion, inspiration, and so when it's upright, it's kind of like, yeah, we're digging in together. We're bringing each other. We're kind of helping each other evoke to a higher level of passion, and it is the challenge point. So it's like you want to kind of give it all you've got. Like you don't want to hold back here. You want to, and these people are helping you kind of evoke to a new level. The reversal is like you're doing that internally. I think that it's an internal, like I'm really supporting like the rising of passion. I'm not holding back. I'm committing. I'm basically committing to this path in front of me. So, and that means that you're kind of like your mind isn't, like I was saying before with the Seven of Pentacles, we're not hitting the brakes anymore. The mind's like, okay, let's just go for it. So that idea of, so it could be that you've been working towards like the building of passion. And now it's like, yes, I'm ready to enjoy sort of the flow of this, and the surfacing of new possibility because I'm not hitting the brakes. I'm moving forward. What you don't expect, let me scroll this up so I don't lose it. Okay. What would surprise you? What might surprise you? It's the Six of Wands in reverse. Oh my gosh, I think it's very similar because the Six of Wands is in the Rider-Waite is a fellow coming back from this from this victory. Apparently he has a wreath, so it shows that he's been victorious in some way, and people are gathering around and they're like, yay, and they're celebrating him. 6 is about harmony and integration, and in the image, like he's followed his passion, he's accomplished this thing, and the community is in harmony with him. They're excited, they're celebrating him, they're cheering him on, right? The reversal is, I think, I become my own cheerleader. So what's really cool about that combination is I move into flow, I flow into passion, I commit to it, I don't hold back, I let myself rise to the challenge of my own calling, and then I go, yay me, yay me. And that would be the surprise is like going, really, that's kind of going, wow, look at me go. That's almost like the mind coming in and going, man, we're really kind of amazing, aren't we? And that's what we want. We want the mind to be shocked and amazed about how great we are, so that it becomes our cheerleader. So I can see the mind kind of coming in at that point and saying, yeah, that's pretty awesome. And the last one is what the seed that goes forward. 10 of Pentacles. Okay, so 10 of Pentacles is gold raining down on this from the sky, right? Pentacles is the physical realm. It's about the physical world. So it's money and expansion and physical wellness and vitality. And the gold in the image is raining down on everybody, which says we have followed our own path of expansion to the point that not only are we feeling abundant, but other people are feeling abundant. So what you're doing right now in this engagement of passion and the celebration of your own passion, suddenly it works out like, oh, and then others are blessed, in a way that they can experience. So that's really cool. That's a fun development of that. Okay, Alan. So what you expect to happen, what you expect, right? That's the fruit that we are looking for. 4 of Swords. Okay. Which is the 4 is about balance and stability. And swords are about the mind. And the image in the Rider-Waite is a knight in a crypt lying he's in a crypt, so he's dead. So he's lying very still. In the swords trajectory, death is the same as like rest, like revitalization. So he is dead and he is restful because he's dead. But it's like the mind is stabilized. The mind is like, it's like at peace. It's kind of got its foundations, which means it's successfully gone past the 3 challenge, which is the 3 of Swords is where the mind is learning how to partner with intuition. It's like the mind goes, okay, I know what I'm doing now. So it's almost like you could have been going through a time where your mind was trying to find its way and trying to get stabilized. And now the mind goes, okay, I see what we're doing. I know my role. I know my action steps. I'm not in struggle anymore, which is a really lovely place for the mind to be in. Okay, so the surprising thing would be the Queen of Swords. Oh, that's so great, because the Queen, of course, is the expansive principle of the mind. And she's the one who sits there with her sword ready to like cut away stuff that we don't need, right? So as the mind is stabilizing, the Queen's like, yeah, what doesn't match this, right? And she cuts away the stuff we don't need anymore. So she cuts away old stories, old mindsets. So it's a very clear-sighted, like loving approach, but she's also very analytical. So you may discover as your mind settles in, it's like easy for you to discard things that don't match that balance point, which is really cool. And then what moves into the world, right? The seed that goes into the world, 2 of Swords, another Swords. Oh my gosh, 2 of Swords reversed. Wow. Okay, I would say it's a very similar message, because the 2 of Swords is the lady on the seashore with her crossed swords, and she's blindfolded. And it is like the swords trajectory. Everything is challenge for the swords trajectory, I think. And the 2 of Swords is the mind has to decide how it's going to move forward, and it's showing you it's blindfolded, which means it doesn't know what to do. It's stuck, right? And so which tells us the mind on its own gets stuck because it can't predict the future. It's got 2 paths. It doesn't know which one's the right one. It could do like pros and cons. And if you're a linear person, actually, you might get away with that, right? But if you're not a linear person, your mind will end up just going in circles trying to figure out what to do next, and really showing you that it doesn't have the wisdom it needs to make a decision. But in back of the lady is the sea, which connects to intuition. So the challenge of the 2 of Swords is the mind saying, I don't know what to do. I need to partner with intuition. Let intuition help me make this decision. So the 2 of Swords reversed is like, I think, is the accomplishment of that partnership. So again, just like we were saying, the 4 of Swords is about feeling balanced. The Queen is getting rid of things that don't match. Really, all of that is coming because the mind is now in successful partnership with the mind, which means moving forward. Like if there's a decision to be made, the mind won't get caught in that question. What do I do? What's the right thing? What's the wrong thing? It will sort of naturally connect with intuition and let intuition take the lead, which makes things a lot easier. That is the key to the mind becoming a helpful partner to the spiritual journey rather than a saboteur. So that's really cool. Oh, Annie. So, oh, you're welcome, Annie. I'm glad that you heard what you needed to hear. That's really fun. Okay. Hi, FB. And songs pray for abundance. I always pray for abundance. Okay, so Patty says, I love the leave it analogy for training my mind. That just cat in my head one day, and I keep using it like leave it. And the dog goes, okay. Like it learns to trust you. Like that looks really tasty. that old burger in the road looks really tasty. But but I've learned to listen to you, and I will kind of pull back from my instinct and grab at that burger and listen. So I love it because it's also very loving. Like the reason you tell your dog not to eat the burger is because you know better than the dog what's right for it. And the dog begins to say, you know what? You know better than I do. You're only acting for my own good. So yeah, I'm going to listen. I just like that as a partnership. Okay, let's see. Oh, scroll down some further. Okay, so Nora, you have three. You have the fruit is the Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles. I was just like, sometimes I can't pull them up in my head, right? The three in the Rider-Waite, the Three of Pentacles. Three is about momentum, like in gaining ground, really picking up your pace. Pentacles is the physical realm. In the Rider-Waite, it's a guy building it. He's working on a cathedral. It's a beautiful cathedral. So he's creating this amazing, beautiful structure. And there's two people who are checking in with him, right? They're like older, and they got some notes. And I think of them as architects. So they're looking at what he's doing, and they're offering their support and their ideas and their perspective. And I often think of the Three of Pentacles as we are now drawing to ourselves our team. So the momentum of what we're creating on the planet is growing because we are now drawing to people who see what we're doing, who want to join in. And also that is necessary. You really don't do anything really by yourself in the spiritual journey. There are some things that feel very solitary, but you're part of this whole structure. And so it is about tapping into the fact there's a universe out there loving you. So I would say the Three of Pentacles is like, maybe you've been working on something and now you start noticing resources are lighting up for you. You're getting new perspectives. People are excited. They're offering you support. They're offering you ideas, and you're starting to feel like you're being supported in a team, which is very, very lovely. The surprise is the Emperor. Oh, that's cool. So the Emperor is the 4 card in the Major Arcana. I think of him as the good father energy because because the 4 is about having a good foundation, being balanced and stable. And the job of the Emperor is to create stable structure. That means that like a father, right? Like the mother brings the baby into the world, the father creates the household and provides it with keeps the household sustained with resources and makes it safe. This idea there's a safe place in which I can feel protected and loved. And so the surprise may be then that you've got these people, this sort of a team forming, and like you discover you're able to get what you want, to know what you need, and to advocate for that. We might call that boundaries. I don't like to use the word boundaries too much because I think it's been used in a lot of different ways. But there is this idea of there's a safe place that is your home. So as you're getting these people gathering around you, you may discover you're able to invest in your own home and give yourself what you need. So the father is the one, he makes sure that there's good food in the house, there's toys, there's plenty of space to play in, and also there's safety. So the idea of like really deeply loving yourself and committing to taking care of yourself in a way that feels loving, very, very safe and loving. So that's kind of nice. And the seed, the Knight of Wands. So if you've got a team building, you got your momentum is kind of growing around what you're creating, and you've got this deeply loving energy sort of surfacing where you're committed to taking care of yourself and bringing in only the good things that you love. And then the Knight of Wands, which is the knight is the action taker. Wands are about passion and excitement and energy. So now you've got this sort of very powerful action taker in the world that's matching, that's kind of bringing into the world what you're here to do. So I feel like that really makes sense because if you've got a team, if you're building a momentum here, and then suddenly it's like, now I'm free to go into the world, carry my passion and my joy, and like do the thing in the world that I'm here to do. I like that. It's cool. Okay. So yeah, Alan, so many swords. Your mind is definitely doing a lot of work right now. So yeah. Okay. Well, that's all I see for right now from you guys. Of course, if you're in the replay crew, you can let me know if you want to share your spread. We can do that, and I'll see if I get it. Sometimes I don't see them, but I'll look and check and see. But and Lori, okay, good. I'm glad that fits your story as well. So yeah, so let's all have a great new moon, and I will see you with the strawberry moon in a couple weeks. See you then. Bye.